Home AC starts right now.
Welcome in. It's Jaguars Postgame presented by Florida Home AC. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, and Fred Taylor after a Jaguars loss in Week 1. Texans 37, Jaguars 21. We'll have the first word with head coach Urban Meyer coming up in just a few moments. After he addresses the team, he'll join us before he meets with the media. And plenty to discuss today, guys. First off, Fred, good afternoon to you. How are you?
JP, I'm great, man. Mike, what's up, baby?
Hey, Fred, how are you, man?
I'm good.
Well, the Jaguars struggled. They had a bunch of penalties today. They were outgained a bunch early in the game, a couple of deep balls, a lot of drops on offense, and they got that early hole, Fred, and they just couldn't dig out of it today.
Yeah, big hole, just off to a horrendous start there. I think a lot of it had to do with the lack of balance, in the play calling. Way too many passes, only 2 run calls in the first quarter that were negated due to penalties. Too many penalties, too many passes. Dug yourself a hole. Too many big plays. And I think you take a few of those things away, you give yourself a shot. But until then, it's going to continue to look like it did a year ago.
Obviously, a lot of room for improvement for everyone today, Fred. But in particular, what did you see about Trevor Lawrence, the good and the bad?
Saw a lot of good. We know his arm works. 51 attempts, it definitely worked. But I like the fact that he was getting the ball out. He wasn't hesitant in the pocket. The game wasn't too fast for him. Showed his quick release, very decisive early on, and then it sort of caught up with him. As he was seeing teal jersey streak across his face, Texans say, hey, we're gonna disguise a bit more, get up to the line of scrimmage, show some pressure because they got after him early, and then we're going to drop back and play zone. That's when it got a little tricky for him, and the game started to speed up for him. But I thought he made some good throws, when he had the opportunity there and there. But he has to definitely take care of the ball by making better decisions versus zone coverage.
JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, Fred Taylor, Jaguars postgame presented by Florida Home AC, awaiting the first word with head coach Urban Meyer. Fred, Tyrod Taylor, the storyline, one of them coming in was, hey, you got to keep him in the pocket. Don't let him get outside. Well, he got outside a few times today and did some damage down the field on a couple of deep balls. He threw 2 touchdown passes on top of that, and the defense just struggled most of the day with Taylor.
Yeah, Tyrod had an amazing game on the ground and in the air. Did some good, just throwing the ball up, giving his guys a chance, and they made some plays for him. But, again, the defense itself, they have to find a way to get pressure. That's something we lacked a year ago. We lacked it in the game today. I didn't see many disguises from a zone blitz standpoint. If they did throw any blitzes, they certainly didn't get home. Tyrod scrambled around, showed his mobile ability, kept the plays open, and his guys, again, they made plays for him down the field.
Fred, the numbers are what the numbers are. The defense eyeball test didn't play well in any aspect, but none of the running backs were over 4 yards a carry. In fact, in the low 3s for most of them. It seemed like they were running effectively, though. How do you think the run defense looked from your eyeball test?
Well, I don't know, Mike. I didn't think they did an amazing job. I thought they did okay, but still at the end of the day, they gave up 160 yards on the ground. I know it's not quite 4 yards a whop, but it's very effective. You can win with 3.9 a carry, which is what the Texans did. But they had those opportunities. So I think that the offense has to at least put the defense in better field position situations and give them an opportunity to get the offense the ball back.
Couple of offensive notes today, Fred. DJ Chark was targeted 12 times, but only had 3 catches in the game, 86 yards. He did have a touchdown today. That's not the target-to-reception ratio you want, certainly in your first game out. He was coming off a finger injury in the preseason, and not an ideal start for Chark today.
Yeah, not quite the start we all looked for, but he did make a pretty good, nice grab down there on the big play touch, the 41-yarder for a touchdown. I think a lot of the guys got to do a better job at catching the ball, and the quarterback has to do a better job at putting it directly on him. A few balls were high or either behind. So I think as the season progresses, things will, start to slow down for all of them. They'll get used to each other the more reps they get. So that's what I'm being optimistic for in anticipation. But Chark, he has that ability. I think they'll figure it out as the season continues.
Obviously, Fred, we talked about Tyrod having a good game. He was under 300 yards, but he didn't need to do anything throwing the ball in the second half. He was on pace for 450 plus at the halftime.
Right.
He had those two big plays to Brandy Cooks where it seemed like I'd have to go back and watch him again, but the defensive backs, I don't know if they lost the ball or it just seemed like he threw them up kind of for grabs, like, hey, the worst thing that happens, it gets picked off, and it's like a punt kind of thing, and both of them connected. What did you see from the secondary on those plays?
Yeah, the secondary got to make those plays. I mean, yeah, those two plays were 2 for 92 to Cooks. The first one, I really thought the defender had an opportunity to bring it down. Now, it was intercepted, but because of how they fell on the ground, Cooks was able to wrestle it away and keep that alive for their offense. The second play was just a big scramble there before the half. Another play you got to make. I think they scored in like 37 seconds, 4 plays, 69 yards, 37 seconds before the half, and that sort of opened things up. But the secondary got to show better awareness and make those plays when the opportunity presents itself.
Final score today, Texans 37, Jaguars 21. Jaguars postgame presented by Florida Home AC. JP Shadrick with Mike Dempsey and pride of the Jaguars running back Fred Taylor after a Jaguars Week 1 loss. Well, now, Fred, it's on to Denver next week. We've got plenty to discuss on this game throughout the hour ahead, but you got to turn around and get back after it tomorrow. Get in the film room and get ready to roll. There's no slowing down at all, and the Broncos are going to be a pretty good football team coming in here week 2.
Yeah, it's a fresh season, man. These guys, they're all pros. They're going to, if they don't know, they'll figure it out, sooner than later. But it's time to forget about this one. Get ready for the next one. You hate to dig yourself a hole and lose your opener, nevertheless lose the opener, but to a division opponent. So now you're in the hole here in the AFC, but you have another AFC opponent coming to town where you have a chance to avenge, your home field by going out there, trying to find a way to find some balance on the offense early on. You have a workhorse, undrafted running back who was top dog a year ago. Give him the ball. Give Carlos Hyde the ball, and say, this is what we're going to do. We're going to establish a mindset early on. We're going to give the defense an opportunity early on to get out there and make plays and not dig them a hole. So I think the coaches will go back and look at 51 attempts, way too many passes, just way too many passes. 2 run plays in the first quarter, not enough run plays called, no matter what. So you got to go out there, man, and figure out this is our identity. We're going to play great defense, and we're going to give ourselves an opportunity to win the game by defending the big play and trying to run the ball and throw some short passes, I think the quarterback, he has a great arm. He's a great talent, and he's going to be maybe the all-time leading passer in Jaguars history when it's all said and done. But make it easier for him.
Fred Taylor here with us on the postgame as we look back on the Jags dropping their opener to the Houston Texans. Fred, Tony Pacelli and Jeff Logman spoke in the pregame about the importance of this game to not be deflated coming out of it if you do lose it, because Urban Meyer is trying to sell a new group of players on a vision of what he sees that can be a path to success. His first time in the National Football League. You're on the road against an opponent that most people think is not going to be very good this year, and we understand that things change. How do you avoid, if you're the players on this team, having that deflation? How easy is it to put it behind you after 24 hours?
These guys are going to go out there and they want to play. As long as the optimism and the energy and the culture, the talk is the same, guys are going to really go out there and play. It's only one game. And next week it'll be the second game. And at the end of the season, it'll be, hey, this was his rookie year. So they're going to give him every opportunity to go out there and prove that he can coach on this level. So this is just, 1 week, 4 quarters. The guys are going to say, all right, it's just one game. Let's get it together. One game. The leaders in the locker room, they should step up and say, all right, we got Denver coming to town. Let's go out there and win this one. Let's do it for ourselves. Let's do it for Coach. Let's do it for Jacksonville. Let's find a way. So regardless of what happens with the coaches, Mike, my mindset, at least my mindset, and I hope there are guys in that locker room that has that same mindset, was I need to go out there and play, irregardless of what the record is. I want to go out there and compete and kick some ass.
All right, let's take a timeout. We'll come back. We're still waiting the first word with head coach Urban Meyer. Final score 37-21. Back with more in a moment. It's Jaguars Postgame on Jaguars Radio.
Hi, I'm Urban Meyer, head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When I'm looking for a company to provide comfort to my home and family, I look for the same qualities I expect from my football team. High standards, superior knowledge, trust, and reliability. I've found that with Florida Home Air Conditioning, guaranteed exceptional service, and more than 20 years experience serving Jacksonville and the surrounding communities make their company my choice for heating and cooling. Call Florida Home AC today, official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Why live with foot or ankle pain? If you have persistent pain, numbness, tingling, burning pain on the bottom of your foot, or swelling that doesn't improve with home treatment, it may be time to see Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. Our foot and ankle specialists have innovative new options to help you get back in the swing of things without persistent pain that slows you down. Call JOI 2000 or go to joionline.net for an appointment.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're feeling good now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now, bucket dunking now, namasteing now, popping a wheelie now, living lighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. And on Mondays, try our Jaguars Duval Delight Smoothies for $2.99. And you're roaring louder now, end zone dancing now, sipping spirit now. You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Hey Jaguars fans, are you ready to talk some trash? Well, nobody talks trash quite like Waste Pro, the official waste service and recycling partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Specializing in residential and commercial solid waste and recycling collection, processing, and disposal, Waste Pro is equipped to handle all your recycling and garbage removal needs. For service, call 904-731-7288. Waste Pro, caring for communities and caring for Jacksonville.
Jaguars postgame presented by Florida Home AC. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, and pride of the Jaguars running back Fred Taylor. Final score today, the Texans over the Jaguars 37-21. Still awaiting the first word with head coach Urban Meyer after the game today in Houston. The Jaguars fall in week number 1. Well, Trevor Lawrence today, let's go through the numbers. 3 touchdown passes, a couple of those late in the game, but the 3 interceptions, you know, the one to Justin Reed and then the one to Vernon Hargreaves right before halftime there, that set up a field goal, the Hargreaves one. Then, of course, the quick 3 and out with 11 seconds taken off the clock before the last touchdown of the half, Fred. That seemed to be where this game kind of got away there. They had that 10-point swing right before halftime and never looked back, the Texans.
Yeah, the Texans, they did a really good job again in playing zone coverage, really just getting in the eyesight of the quarterback. You know, and he has to understand that these are NFL coverages and these guys get paid to make those plays. They're not going to drop many of them. I think the pass to Vernon Hargrave right there, that one, he should have just taken the check down to James Robinson. Now you give yourself an opportunity to at least run a few more plays, punt it down, and put your defense in position to change field position. So that, you know, I think that was a 3-point. The defense, they stood up, and I think only gave up 3 points off of that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And the other play down there, I think it was intended for Chenault over the middle. That was another one where they played outstanding zone coverage, and he saw teal jersey streaking across his face. He threw it, but as soon as he threw it, he wanted it back. So as long as he can recognize those mistakes quick, you know, he'll get better in film room. He'll recognize the coverage is much better, and he won't make those throws. So I expect him to get better. He's the upside from what I'm seeing in the passes and the zip and the accuracy. He's going to improve. So it's his first game. I'm not worried, but I do expect him to improve. He has to improve on this, so I don't see it any other way.
Ultimately, Fred, what do you think of the offensive line protection today? Only one official sack given up to the Texans. I didn't think that was the problem today.
Well, I mean, if you're going to hold them.
True. That's true. Other than the penalties, that's a good point.
So I got at least 4 holdings right here, 2 on Taylor, Linder to open the game on Robinson's, but that was a run play. The same with A.J. Cann. Both were on run plays. But just across the board, it was fairly messy for the offense. I saw him getting out of the huddle late, calling 2 timeouts wasted in the first quarter. That's a no-no. So we have to get better there. The illegal formation to start the game, there are a few other illegal formations. You have too many men in the huddle. So a lot of those things they will clean up, so I'm not necessarily worried about. But I think technically you get those holding calls. It's more so effort and technique. So Jawan, he's had a history of that. He has to improve and get better there. So they didn't give up many sacks even with that amount of pass attempts. But, again, you have to not have those penalties. Otherwise, you're going to dig your holes regardless of not giving up the sacks.
Final score, 37-21, Texans over the Jaguars in Week 1 at NRG Stadium in Houston. Still waiting the first word with head coach Urban Meyer.
I don't think he wants to talk to us.
Well, he'll come around at some point here.
I know, I'm kidding.
It's Week 1, and it did not go well, at least. Let's put it that way, Fred. I mean, it was a little choppy early in the game, and then, as you said, there was some positivity at certain points later, but too little too late for this Jaguars team today. Overall, the Jaguars defense, though, was Mike. I think we were really thinking, what is this thing really going to look and feel like today? Well, there were moments where it didn't really look and feel that great. Tyrod Taylor got away from them in certain situations and executed some plays down the field. Mike.
Yeah, he broke containment, and we said that's the one thing with him. You have to keep him in the pocket. It's difficult for him to beat you from the pocket, but today he was able to escape. And again, you look at the raw numbers. Mark Ingram, 3.3 yards per carry. David Johnson, 3.3. Phillip Lindsay, 3.1. You would take that, but it just seemed like, Fred, when they needed, 3 yards, they got 4, and similar kind of things like that. So, a lot of work to be done on that side of the ball too. But how difficult is it to get these guys when they're coming up field with a head of steam? Like Caleb on Chason thought he had a kill shot, and Tyrod just ducked right under it, and then he missed him again on the next opportunity. But it's really those ones right there. You take that shot. He's such a small target as it is, and those are the ones that can break your back. Right,
Mike. We know first and foremost this is a passing NFL. The rules are catered to passing and scoring, and then when you add a mobile quarterback in that equation, guys like Tyrod Taylor, who's been patiently waiting his opportunity to get out there and show people that I can still play in this league. There's nothing wrong with me. I really can play in this league. And it's a big order, for our defense, especially playing a 3-4 front, to get out there and at week 1, first up, you have to deal with a mobile quarterback. I was really hoping in the back of my mind the last time we opened up in Houston, Jacksonville was born. I was hoping to see some of that today, but we were far from it. But they still have an opportunity to get out there and learn each other. I think they have to communicate more. I saw some communication breakdown early with some of the coverage defenders dropping in the same area in the zone. The coverages were fairly soft, and with soft coverages, bad communication, no rush. The quarterback's going to sit back there and pick you apart all day, especially if he's mobile. Now he's extending the play where he can make those big throws to the Brandy Cooks of the world. He can make sure he can get those balls off to the Danny Amendolas and give them an opportunity to do some stuff with the ball. So collectively as a group, the communication has to get better. The plays have to get in. Allow those guys an opportunity to play fast, to dial in, recognize the offensive set, so they can play fast and play with confidence. So as the season goes, and I keep saying this, I'm hoping that this is what will happen with communication, recognition, and just being able to get out there and play with confidence and make some plays. So chalk up week 1. That's in the books. These guys will go back and watch the film and see where they can improve. And they got to make the plays when they count, Mike, like you say. He has to get out there and make that sack when it presents itself.
Fred Taylor with us, JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, Jaguars postgame presented by Florida Home AC, awaiting the first word with head coach Urban Meyer. You mentioned that Jacksonville 2017. I mean, they had 10 sacks in that game, week 1 of that season in Houston. That's a while ago.
They announced themselves, but, they had some premier guys who had played at a high level defensively in this league before, and, we don't have that right now. Not that many of them, at least, at this point in time, so...
Correct. When you're out there in a 3-4, because the Texans came out and they showed a lot of 12 personnel, they showed a lot of 21 and heavy personnel, and that's going to force you to bring your big, mud trucker guys out there. Mm-hmm. But then when you have situations where, you run play action with a mobile quarterback who can extend the play and allow these guys opportunity to move around in a soft zone, you're not going to get the pressure that we used to get, we got in 2017 with a 4-down lineman, guys that you only have 2 fat guys in the middle, right? and the other guy, he wasn't a fat guy. He was a 6'8", 300-pound monster in Calais who can also get after the quarterback. But you don't have that in the 3-4 front. So they have to find a way to get more pass rush opportunities for the Josh Allen's, Josh Allen, and not have him dropping back in coverage, right? So he's a guy he's a captain. He's a guy you took early in the, I forget his draft selection, but top number 3, what was he, 3?
No, it was like 8, 8 or 9?
Oh,
8
Josh
or 9.
Allen.
But either case, he's a
seven,
first-rounder. You depend on him to get after the quarterback.
Go ahead.
I think the play calling will give them opportunity to have more success. But they have a pocket passer this week. So let's hope they can show some pass rush ability and come away with a few sacks.
Fred, let's talk about another Josh Lambo. Look, I understand a 55-yard field goal is not commonplace, but we've come to expect him to be automatic on everything. And he's had a shaky offseason by his standards, understanding he's coming off injury, but does he need to be near perfect or, basically what he's been for the last couple of years? Because this is a team that's, we said it in the pregame, it's not going to blow a lot of teams out. And, when it comes down to those close games, you got to be spot on in the kicking department. How are you feeling about Lambo heading into the season, putting the today aside even?
55 isn't chump change,
sure.
Right? It's 8-9 yards away from the NFL record. Right, and Josh, we've seen him make those kicks, so the expectations are always going to be there. But quite naturally, you're going to miss one of those or 2 of those a year if you're kicking from that distance. And if he can show that, I'm the old Josh of old, and I can make these, I can deliver, it'll make it easier on the offensive play caller, where he's not going to always call a play-action boot from the 45-yard line and toss it, downfield. He's going to run the ball right there to try and get him a yard or 2 closer to make it easier for him to make that kick. So Josh will go back out there and continue to work. Maybe it's also in his head, and that's what it usually is in the NFL, especially with kickers. But the expectations are there, man. They say you got to make those kicks regardless. You get paid to do it.
The final word, or first word with head coach Urban Meyer is still scheduled to come up in just a few minutes. 37-21, the final. Texans over the Jaguars in Week 1. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, and Fred Taylor. The Jaguars will face the Denver Broncos in Week 2. By the way, the Saints lead the Packers 10-0 inside TIAA Bank Field, about 75 feet behind us, behind our studio here. Fred, we heard the Packers music when they went out for the out of the tunnel today, just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, I talked to Mercedes earlier in the week, and I wished him well this week. I said, welcome back to Jacksonville. It's going to feel funny coming out of the visitors' locker room, but it's going to seem even more strange to look across and realize you're not playing your former team in their home field. And I'm also thinking, JP and Mike, I see the Saints name in our end zones, and right there on that 50-yard line, their logo there. I'm like, who's going to cover it?
I think the self-inflicted. I think we had 7 penalties in the first 3 or 4 drives, and I thought, we were moving the ball. I thought, and then all of a sudden you look up and you see that damn penalty flag, and so we just, and somewhere just, it just can't happen. So that was the biggest disappointment, and then all of a sudden you get out of your rhythm running the ball, and you look up and you're down a couple scores, and drop back or throwing 51 passes. That's not what we got to be. Yeah, I think I just talked to our D coordinator and had it 3 times. You had him in a grasp, at least 3, and he extended the play. And a couple of times he just launched it down the field, and those guys made plays. I mean, I've always thought he's a heck of a player, but he had a good day. And then his legs, he had I think a 40 or 38-yard run. You just when a quarterback can hurt you that way, which he did a good job.
How shell shocked, if that's an accurate description of the mood in the postgame, would you say it was?
I don't think I don't really know that word other than, we've all got our ass kicked before. Let's tighten up and go, and that's, I believe in that team. I believe in our staff, and come back to work. Good thing is you're going to earn your captain stripes and leadership stripes as a coach and leaders on the team. But I believe in that. I believe in those guys.
How did you feel about
Yeah, I love Trevor, and we all do. Trevor is just going to get better and better and better. Had a great week of work. Offensive football is about 11 guys doing their job, and the great offenses we've all witnessed and we've all been a part of are when 11 guys are doing their job and executing, and that didn't happen. So Trevor's going to be great. Yeah. It's so chaotic on the sideline that we'll talk and revisit when he gets going. And, he's a very accurate passer, and today at times he wasn't. So you've got to find out why.
Because you were doing so much, was he thrust where there just weren't a lot of easy options, confidence-building throws that...
It's easier for me to answer those questions after a film. It's where we just got done playing, and so I'll be easy to answer those next week.
You got guys lining up. Is that
It's all the above. It's inexcusable, the things that need to be fixed, and 3 preseason games you think we'd have that fixed. So that's something that we're gonna. I would guesstimate you would not see that again. That's inexcusable.
familiarity with all...
Trying to think how many hold. I know we had one on a run play that we got to see on film what happened there, because we were starting to get a little momentum going, had a nice, I want to say 15-yard run, and starting to play the game downhill a little bit and getting the backs involved, and then boom, I see that flag and you're second down and 20. I'm trying to think how many holding calls do we have. Yeah, mostly in the run game. 4. But I think one was a wide out, if I remember right.
Yeah,
one was.
The one you're talking about was...
Yeah. But once again, I'll have all those answers for you next week.
Put yourselves out there. Big hold really well. That's a 14-7.
Yep.
Kind of feel like, okay,
I felt great.
settle down.
Sideline felt great. Our defense, we're starting to play pretty good. And then it kind of got away from us. That was I remember it was right now. 14-7 on the road, young quarterback. Let's get this thing going. Let's, no more penalties and get this thing going. It didn't happen. Six drops. I'll have the answer for you next week.
Yes, but a lot of work. Like this.
Well, I've been warned for a long time that this is a marathon, not a sprint. So calm down, relax, and not relax, but onward, soldier, move on, and let's go Monday and get back to work. We're still a work in progress, as you've seen. I did not anticipate that today. I thought our guys worked really hard. I believe deeply in this team, and so we worked our tails off. We're line up and go again.
How difficult is it? Obviously, lost your old job. Different.
I hear that a lot, and I'd rather people not worry about me. You know, that's a gray-haired dude that's been around for a long time. I got a bunch of players in there that deserve to win and work their tails off. And I would tell, I don't know if I'd tell you guys exactly, but I would tell them. Say, we don't work very hard, but they work their tails off, and we're going to continue to work. There's only one answer. That's a great thing about this sport. There's not, we have to make a secret pass call or protection call. It's just work. That's the greatest thing about the game of football. Go out and work, and that's what we shall do. Thanks, guys.
A little bit short today in week one. 37-21 the final score. Trevor Lawrence, 28 of 51 passing, 332 yards, 3 touchdowns.
I mean, it just, in no situation, it was just, some guys just, we got to make the play. It's just that simple. We all got a job to do, like I preached before. And once those situations comes, we just got to make those plays. So it's not just, a team or defensive scheme-wise. It was, it was, you got your name, we got our name called. And if that situation comes up, we got to make the play. And, we missed a lot of those opportunities, but we're going to come back next week, and we're going to double up.
Put a lot of work into all this. You're not going to win every game. There's some of that, but
yeah,
there's a little sense of like.
It's football. I'm going to do my job. You know what I'm saying? If we all see, stuff happens, you know what I mean? And a situation like that, I'm not going to say we lost the game. You know what I'm saying? I done seen some crazy stuff happen. So I'm going to do what I got to do. I'm going to go out there and do my job as a grown man, as a captain, as a, player on this team. I'm going to do my job. And I hope the guy next to me and the guys behind me do their job. So, we just had to come out there and we just got to, get better next week. Hey, man, they had a lot of, like I said, it was, when the play's called, it's going to go up to one person to make a play. You know what I'm saying? They had more opportunities to go make that play, which they, like I said, he had his number called, and he went up to go make that play. So, definitely seeing, that definitely hurts, but, it's football. What are we going to do? There was a couple, we had a couple, plays when they had long games, but defense, we stay strong. You know what I'm saying? We didn't give up touchdowns, not all the time. So we just got to convert those to turnovers, man. We got to get the ball. That's one thing we have to really harp on, is getting the ball. We didn't have that many opportunities to get the ball, but we got to go get them. And that's up to me. That's up to, all the other defensive players. We got to get the ball. Got to.
How would you describe Buddha's afterwards? Feel like all the bonding that had stand up test. Now you have to
it's one game. You know what I'm saying? This is a long season. We all healthy. We all came out 100%. Yeah, we got our bumps and bruises. That's what we need to come back on. We need to come back 100% for next week. But man, it's a long season, man, and it's football, and we're gonna come back next week. We're gonna work on the things we need to work on, and we're gonna come back swinging. And that's all we can do. We still gonna bomb. We still gonna kick it. We still gonna be us. You know what I'm saying? By the end of the day, ain't nothing gonna change. We still gonna go far around that ball, stop the run. Jobs that we have to do, and just come back, man. This defines us because we lost. This is a bad feeling. Like, I'm not gonna say that it wasn't a bad feeling, or we're gonna get better next week. Like, it sucked, and we got to get better. But for the team and for us as a team as a whole, man, we're gonna gel back. You know what I'm saying? We are all grown men. We're gonna look at this. We're gonna get the corrections, and we're gonna move on. That's all we can do, and that's what we got to do. That's what we are gonna do. So.
How about with three running backs, Texans use,
Yeah.
and then for them to totally rely on a running back?
I mean, in the first half, we stopped the run. Like, they had, they was running the ball, but it wasn't 30 yards a carry. It wasn't those big explosive runs. Yeah, he had one or two. Like, so as a run defense, I feel like, we can, get better, especially toward later in the game of doing a better job stopping run. But overall, I think we did a good job, especially for them to have three backs or whoever they got. The MO they're trying to establish this year. I feel like we did a good job, and they kept him fresh, they kept him in, but we just got him a little hard and get the ball back.
Thanks, Josh.
Yep.
What's up, y'all?
Would you describe on this feeling in the locker room right now? Very much away from
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously sucks. Like losing's always hard, especially when you feel like you're prepared and had a great week and really think we were ready and just obviously didn't play well. It starts with me. I played really bad tonight, so disappointing for sure. I still believe in this team. I still know what we're capable of, and we did some good things. I mean, you see, we started off with some penalties, 3 and out, but then after that, we had a couple good drives. We're hitting some big plays, and there's a lot of good things there, and we got to keep doing those and learn from the bad, and we got to watch it and learn from it for sure, but then flip the page. It's a long season. We can't let this snowball. We got to move on and go win next week. So that's where we're going to start at, but it's definitely disappointing for sure. Yeah. It's a mix of everything, I think. That's something we got to talk about as a team, an offense, like coaches, everybody. We got to just figure out what to do better there. Definitely some stuff we got to clean up. Too many penalties. Like I said, turnovers. It's all me. 3 turnovers. Like you're not gonna win many games with 3 turnovers, especially when margin was -3 for us. So it's not good. Gave them one right in our backed up, threw one to them right before half, kind of right there. It was just not great. So a lot of things we got to do better, but like I said, you got to watch them and correct them and then move on. And like you said, procedure stuff, we'll get that fixed. Partly we got a lot of new guys that just came in and all that. So we'll clean it up.
Is there a history?
Yeah, honestly that was me just trying to do too much. I lost the mic playing zone. I mean, they played cover 2 all night pretty much, and just kind of lost the mic and my sight of vision and just tried to force it there, and just pressed a little bit. I got to just take what they're giving me, play the slow game, get better at that for sure.
Later in the game,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just keep trusting it. It's going to come. Obviously, there was ups and downs. I thought we didn't start great, but then right after that first drive, like I said, we kind of had some momentum, started playing well. And then just up and down the whole game, and just telling the O-line, all of us just, hey, stick together, keep making plays, keep playing. Even at the end, like, I know didn't change the game, but going and scoring right there, like, I like how we fought and got that last drive, a good 2-minute drill, put it in, looked clean. That was great. I thought that was good for us. Obviously, like I said, didn't change the game, but I liked how we kept playing, and that was the one thing that nobody quit. And obviously, it was a rough game. We're going to get better, but that was the main thing: is just keep playing. We're going to make the plays. I'm gonna get better, and we're gonna make those. I missed some bad ones today, and obviously had too many turnovers, but we'll get better.
I feel like
A few times. I think that one, the first pick was just a bad throw. We had him scramble drill. I had Devin right there. He did a good job and just went in. I threw it inside too much. So that was just a bad throw. There's always, it's either a bad throw or a bad decision when you throw a pick, and bad decisions are the ones that'll get you for sure. So that was just a bad throw. And then later they ran cover 2, and I tried to throw a corner ball in there, and the corner was dropping and should have just checked it down. That was the one that when we were backed up, and then I threw one over the middle when I lost the mic, tried to force it. So those were the 3, and like I said, it's just hard to win games when you turn the ball over, and that starts with me. That was all me, so got to get better.
Outside of your learning.
No, for sure. Yeah.
How hard is it to know that you can do all
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely part of the learning process, and I'm kind of a perfectionist, so I'm a little. It's frustrating just because I did some things that I don't normally do, and just through some bad decisions that I'm disappointed in. But like you said, it's part of the learning process, and if you use it to learn, then it's all good, and we'll get better. But got to get better for sure.
outside of the outside?
I mean, obviously it leaves a bad taste in your mouth when you don't win, but it's a cool experience. But yeah, it's when you don't win the game, it's kind of like not a good feeling. So. Yeah, we put them in a bind. Turned it into the strong side with motion in the back out. They had zone coverage and just lost the seam. That was kind of the plan with that play. We really like it, and worked just the way we drew it up. So it was nice.
How much is today's game you were coming off holding already? Decision was made, or did you have to kind of see it?
Oh no, I knew all of them. The first one I threw, like I said, on the corner where the corner just dropped into coverage and picked it right when I was throwing it. Like last second, I'm like, damn, this is gonna be a pick right here. So I'm trying to chase him and go make the tackle. And then the other one, right when I let it go, I saw the mic right there. Both of those. I mean, that's usually the case. Like right when you're kind of letting it go, or right after you throw, you know what you did, and still gotta get better. Gotta play smarter. Yeah, I mean, we just got to clean it up. We got to play cleaner. We got to be on the same page. And I think, a lot of the times we made some great plays. You saw we had a great 3rd and 15 conversion with DJ, a little deep dig route, which was awesome. But a lot of little things, it's not necessarily they're getting it wrong or I'm getting it wrong. We just got to work and get on the same page with the routes. I mean, you guys know there's so many adjustments with the way different teams play defenses. You really got to be on the same page, and definitely got to get better at that timing. And then I got to be more accurate. There was a lot of opportunities that I just missed. I probably missed 4 or 5 open receivers that could have been big plays or even just keep the chains moving. So. They have a pretty good pass rush, but I think our guys up front did a really good job. I mean, I think we threw the ball 50 times and 1 sack, and that was at the very end. So I thought our guys did a great job up front. In this league, like there's going to be some rush. There's going to be some times where you're going to have to get it out. And I thought we managed that okay. It was just kind of everything else that we didn't execute well. But from a protection standpoint, I thought we communicated well. We ID'd it good. And, yeah, I mean, there's going to be a few every game. But I thought the guys up front did a hell of a job, especially in the run game. I thought we ran the ball well. It's just tough when you get behind. In the second half, you got to try to, push the ball downfield. So. Yeah, it is. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know I'm gonna respond well. I'm made of the right stuff, so I don't have any doubt about that. But it's frustrating, and I hate losing. So we're gonna get better, but that's all you can do is watch the tape, learn from it, get better, move on, and we just got to stick together. That's the main thing. That's kind of in the past. That's over. It is what it is. We got to move on to next week and stick together. So it's going to be good. All right, y'all.
for the Houston Texans. Turnovers, of course, Mike, as you would imagine. 3 turnovers for the Jaguars today, none for the Texans offense. And the Texans held the ball for just over 35 minutes.
And those 3 turnovers, the 3 interceptions that Trevor Lawrence threw, the quarterback comparison. You know what this felt like a little bit? Thursday night's game with Dak Prescott throwing it 56 times, I think, and they didn't really run the ball. But that was against one of the best front sevens in the league. This didn't seem necessary to go that route. Trevor Lawrence, 51 attempts, 28 completions, 332 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions, a quarterback rating of 70.1 in his NFL debut. Tyrod Taylor on the other side, 21 of 33, 291, 2 touchdowns, no picks, and a quarterback rating of 112.1. Carlos Hyde led the way, both in carries and in yardage on the ground for the Jags, 9 for 44. James Robinson, 5 for 25. Mark Ingram, 26 carries today for 85 yards and a touchdown. Phillip Lindsay also ran one in for the Texans. DJ Chark had 86 receiving yards on 3 catches, although he was targeted 12 times, so the chemistry definitely not there with Chark and Lawrence today. Along the 41, that went for a touchdown. Marvin Jones, 5 for 77 with a score, and Laviska Shenault, 7 for 50. No touchdowns there. Manhurts had the 1 catch for 22 yards that ended up as a touchdown. Brandy Cooks led the way for Houston with 5 for 132 through the air. Miles Jack, 6 solo tackles, 9 in total, including a tackle for loss. Led the way defensively. Josh Allen with the only sack in the ball game.
Fred, Mark Ingram's an 11th-year running back, running 26 times in a game, and that's a good bit for him. On the other side, it felt like they tried to get Shenault involved for the Jaguars today. 9 targets, 7 catches, 50 yards. He had a carry in the game too, Fred, but they couldn't really break anything loose with him today.
No, but I did see the attempts to try to get him involved. And if I go back to Coach Meyer's days at Florida, Shenault, he's our version of Percy Harvin. They're the same player in my opinion. He can line up in the backfield. He can catch the short routes, the screens, the bubble screens, and take it the distance. And he can also beat you deep. So he's a triple threat for that matter. So I'm pretty sure he's going to be a guy when you go to the trickery and the gadgety type plays, a few shot plays here and there. He's the guy that they'll call on. But I do like the group of running backs. In Chark Jones and Shenault, I think they're good enough and capable enough to get it done with their abilities. But I just want to go back and just touch on this, JP and Mike. James Robinson, and I text this to you, JP. I think this was his worst outing as a pro, and not just statistically 5 for 25 there, but he caught the ball better. And I don't know. I don't know what it is. I would have liked to see him have a few more opportunities in the run game. They gave him every opportunity in the pass game. I don't think he's content or satisfied with his performance. So I'm going to challenge him to improve on that the next game, the next time out, the next time he has those opportunities, and hopefully he can get it done.
Let's come back in a moment. That was the TIAA Bank Stats Check. TIAA Bank turned potential into progress. The player of the game voting coming up. It's Jaguars Postgame on Jaguars Radio.
Brooks Rehabilitation is looking for exceptional nurses who want to work where miracles happen. They're hiring for RN, LPN, HHA, and CNA positions across their inpatient, skilled nursing, and home health care settings. Brooks nurses serve as leaders, advocates, change agents, and care coordinators for their patients. They offer flexible schedules, career advancements, and continuing education, competitive pay, plus bonuses, shift premiums, and sign-on bonuses. Apply now at brooksrehab.org/nursecareers.
Hey Jaguars fans, tired of being late to the game because you're still stuck in traffic or circling the block looking for a place to park? Next time, join thousands of other Jags fans who already know the smart way to get to the stadium is on the JTA Game Day Express. Express shuttles run from 5 convenient locations, including the newest location at FSCJ downtown. Tickets start at just $8 and are available exclusively on the MyJTA mobile app. The JTA Game Day Express. It's like winning before the game even starts.
A lot has changed in 60 years, but there's one thing that remains the same. Our commitment to our customers and to our community. There's no place like Jacksonville, and there's no place like Gate. Thank you for allowing us to serve you past, present, and future. Now through August 31st, Jags fans can enjoy 2 of your favorite roller grill items for just $2 at participating Gate locations. Get them while they're hot. Gate, serving up more.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're feeling good now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now, bucket dunking now, namasteing now, popping a wheelie now, living lighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. And on Mondays, try our Jaguars Duval Delight Smoothies for $2.99. And you're roaring louder now, end zone dancing now, sipping spirit now. You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars Postgame presented by Florida Home AC. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, and pride of the Jaguars running back Fred Taylor. Jaguars Postgame presented by Florida Home AC. Call Florida Home AC today, official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's get the Jaguars Radio Network Player of the Game voting. I get a vote. Mike gets a vote. Fred Taylor, because he's Fred, gets an extra half vote to break any deadlocks today. Fred, would you like to get us started in the voting? Go ahead.
Ah, man. Whoa, not really, but I guess I can. Jeez, this is ugly. I guess I wanted to go with DJ Chark, man, but those 12, the catch-to-target ratio doesn't look so good. On the defensive side, I really can't go with Miles Jack. He's a penalty magnet from times. His attitude got to get better.
Right.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's tough today, isn't it?
It is tough. Marvin Jones. Oh, man. Veteran guy. He's been around. He hung in there. Ugly late-minute touchdown. Hopefully he can talk some. This is ugly. I'm just reaching. I don't know.
I mean, I think you picked who I was leaning toward anyway. I mean, because he is the veteran presence of that offense, really. I mean, he's a 10th-year player. And,
right.
He's going to run the right routes for the most part, it feels like, and, kind of be a security blanket.
Yeah, he is definitely a security blanket. He's a go-to guy early in his game. He hung in there and ended up getting a touchdown late. I got him on one of my fantasy teams somewhere, so I appreciate that. Just want to give an honorable mention to Josh Allen with the sack there, a couple pressures, QB hit. This is an ugly, tough one today for me.
Yeah, so I'm going to go Marvin Jones as well.
A clean sweep. I mean, I think he's just about as productive as DJ Chark, but on less targets. It took him a little bit more efficient there. Wasn't a great day to ride home for anybody.
No, it was not.
Correct.
So Marvin Jones, the Jaguars Radio Network Player of the Game, and if you're looking for the MVP of the truck game, then look no further than Ford F-150, loaded with impressive capability and designed to dominate work, play, and everything in between. This truck makes tough look easy. No wonder it's the official truck of the NFL and proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars. The Baptist Health Injury Report when we return. It's Jaguars Postgame presented by Florida Home AC on Jaguars Radio.
Why live with foot or ankle pain? If you have persistent pain, numbness, tingling, burning pain on the bottom of your foot, or swelling that doesn't improve with home treatment, it may be time to see Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. Our foot and ankle specialists have innovative new options to help you get back in the swing of things without persistent pain that slows you down. Call JOI 2000 or go to joionline.net for an appointment.
At most sandwich places, asking for more of something is just part of the drill. But what if you never had to ask for more? What if more was just a given? At Daly's, more is what our sandwiches are built on. More meat, more cheese, more veggies, more quality, more taste. All for a price that's anything but more. Sandwiches from Dash, made fresh. Daly's.
Touchdown at Jaguars away games when you fly nonstop from Jacksonville International Airport. Join the Jaguars at Houston, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, and Los Angeles. Taunt the other teams in Nashville, New York, and Boston. When you fly nonstop from Duval, on-airport parking will punt the stress from your travel itinerary. Garage facilities offer defensive coverage from the weather and are a 50-yard dash from the terminal. And economy lots are now open at just $6 a day. To learn more about nonstop flights and on-airport parking, visit flyjax.com.
Have you painted yourself for game day and dyed your pet's fur to match? Do you bleed your team's colors and deck your pet out in team gear? Do you plan game day watch parties for fellow sports lovers and their beloved pets? Then you are a rare breed. You are a pet fanatic, equal parts pet obsessed and die-hard sports fan. At Pet Paradise, they're crazy about pets too. The official pet care provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Pet Paradise. It's a new day in pet care.
What do the players and coaches of the Jacksonville Jaguars have in common with your local tradesmen? Hard work, dedication, and passion to perfect their craft. Never giving up or surrendering until each minor detail is perfect. The J-Tech team are some of the biggest Jaguars fans you'll ever meet. If you're interested in a career in the trades, head over to jtech.org and learn more about what they offer.
You're beyond busy. Between work and the kids, the dogs and the cat, let us help. With Publix Delivery powered by Instacart, you'll get the items you need from the store you know. Just shop online, select the time you'd like your order delivered, and grocery shopping is done, giving you more time to take care of everything else.
Publix Delivery, powered by Instacart. Visit Publix.com/delivery to shop now. That's Publix.com/delivery. Item prices vary from in-store prices. Service fees may apply. Available in select zip codes. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars Postgame presented by Florida Home AC. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, Fred Taylor. Time now for the Baptist Health Injury Report. Baptist Health changing health care for good. Didn't really see much pop out in the game today, which is good news, at least on the initial thing. Didn't really remember any injury reports on the screen or from the reports from Rick Blue on the sideline. So that's good news, at least initially, for the Jaguars.
All that hydrating paying off.
Right. On a dome today. Thank you, Mike. So there's a couple guys on the report this week, and we'll see. Trey Herndon was one of those. He missed today's game. He was inactive for the game today. We'll see how that goes moving ahead. But that's a good sign, Fred. At least they came out of this thing not too nicked up, at least initially, it seems like.
Yeah, you like to see that, JP, after any game for the most part, certainly early in the season. You look around the NFL, you have guys that are slated to be starters and contribute to their team. I think of the Ravens, they jump out to me with Gus Edwards, another one of my fantasy picks, and Peters. Unfortunately, those guys are done for the year. But thankfully, we were able to get through a 60-minute match, no major injuries, and now we get to welcome Denver, hopefully with a full-man roster.
They've reached halftime in the Saints-Packers game just outside behind us here, about 75 feet away at TIAA Bank Field. Saints lead at halftime 17-3. The Packers just kicked a field goal right before the final gun of the first half. So 17-3, Saints lead that one. We're back in a moment with a preview of next week's matchup, the Jaguars and the Denver Broncos next week here at the bank. And this is Jaguars Postgame on the Jaguars Radio Network.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we built the trucks of the future for everyone. Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 44 years straight. Built for performance and capability on and off-road. Because the trucks of the future aren't built for a few. They're built for America. Ford F-Series. Drive one today. Based on 1977 to 2020 calendar year total sales.
If something's been hurting, aching, or bothering you, don't ignore it any longer. It's time to take care of your health again. It's time to make an appointment with a Baptist Health primary care doctor or specialist. Call 904-202-4U to schedule a virtual visit or see a doctor in person at a Baptist Health location. The time for better health is here. Call 904-202-4YOU or visit getbetterjacks.com.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
It's a force that can't be contained, propelled by purpose, pride, and the power to protect. When winning isn't just the mission, it's your passion. You pursue it. You make power plays. You pick your team. At Farrah & Farrah, we deliver game day energy 24/7. Jacksonville.
Final moments of Jaguars postgame presented by Florida Home AC. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey in Jacksonville, Fred Taylor down in South Florida. And Fred, we will see you here next week because the Jaguars are at home against the Denver Broncos in Week 2. Got to get back to work tomorrow, get back in the film room. You know, Urban's still confident in this group and their work and what they're going to put together this week. And you go out and you believe in your process and just try to clean things up this week before the Denver Broncos, a good football team, come in here.
Right. That's what it's all about. And again, JP, just really going back to it, you look at the 3 interceptions from the quarterback position. You look at the big plays against. I think I also text you that we could have been down by 2 field goals. It would have been a much closer game as opposed to being down by, I believe at the time it was almost 20 points or so, by not making the big plays. So they'll go back and look at the film, and that'll sort of put them at ease. And it won't look quite like the blowout that it was, but still, everyone gets paid to go out there and make plays for the most part. But clean up on the offensive side of the ball. Make sure you're not turning the ball over. Minimize those penalties where you can give yourself an opportunity to sustain some drives and try and create balance. That's what I would suggest from the offensive side. From the defensive side, obviously, make those plays and try to find ways to create pressure, whether it's by just simple 4-down rush or either in your 3-4 package, disguising and zone blitzing, but you got to get home and you got to affect the quarterback. Bridgewater, he's a pocket passer. He can't run the ball, but he's one of those guys that you think he's a mobile quarterback, but he doesn't want to run the ball. So you can get after him, and hopefully that's what will happen Sunday.
I like it. Fred, we will talk to you as the week goes along, and have a good one. We'll see you here in Jacksonville next week.
See you in a minute, guys. Looking forward to it.
All right, Fred. Thank you,
Taylor
man.
bringing it today after
right.
the Jaguars lost today in Week 1. The final score 37-21. Texans get a win. They're 1-0. The Jaguars are 0-1. It's on to the Denver Broncos next week here. For those on our flagship station, 1010XL in Jacksonville, the Scoreboard Show is next, featuring NFL Network analyst Bucky Brooks. We'll take your phone calls until 6:30 here in Jacksonville. And we'll look forward to that, of course, as we always do. Jaguars Senior VP is Chad Johnson. VP of Production is Patrick Cavanaugh. Executive Producer Dave DeCandis. Manager of Radio Joe Fortunato. Tony Smith and Linda Fortunato are our producers. Brent Reber, Trent Padilla produced the video for Jaguars.com. For Fred Taylor, Mike Dempsey, and our entire crew, this is JP Shadrick saying good evening, and the final score for the final time, Texans 37, Jaguars 21 on the Jaguars Radio Network.
It's time for the Jaguars Scoreboard Show. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, and NFL Network analyst and former Jaguar Bucky Brooks are ready for you to sound off about today's game. The Jaguars Scoreboard Show is brought to you by Baptist Health, Farrah & Farrah, and by TIAA Bank. The Jaguars Scoreboard Show starts right now.
Welcome in. Scoreboard Show in favor of the Texans today. 37-21 the final score. The early hole, the Jaguars could not climb out of that. The swing there late in the second quarter really kind of extended the game out in favor of the Texans, and the Jaguars could not find any way to climb back in this game today. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, Bucky Brooks is coming up in just a few moments. We'll take your calls. 355-NFL-1, 904-355-6351, Mike, and there's plenty to dissect in this game.
Oh, absolutely. So many, as Urban Meyer described them, unforced errors, self-inflicted mistakes, but give credit to the Houston Texans who came out and attacked this team early on, got up, and this wasn't a fluke from their standpoint. I mean, Tyrod Taylor played magnificently. They were balanced. They ran it a ton. They weren't getting big gaping holes and gaining great yardage, but they kept that a consistent threat as part of the game, and they were able to kind of grind it out in the second half because they had that big halftime lead, JP, and you and I have debated the merits of I think you need to be aggressive when you get the ball back with about a minute to go, as the Jags did at the end of the first half, but, man, to go 3 and out in 11 seconds, first you hold them to the field goal, which at that point felt like a big win because the Texans were marching up and down the field. And so you hold them to the field goal, and you're thinking, okay, maybe we can get down, get a field goal of our own, or even with a minute left, get it into the end zone. But instead, you give it right back to them in 11 seconds. And on top of that, you let the Texans drive down and get their own touchdown, which basically sealed the game right there, right before the
They had
half.
the big pass to Cooks to do that, 52-yarder to get in, and two of those in the first half. But, hey, you got to let him – that happens when he gets outside the pocket.
They made that play, right? I mean, and that's what he was doing. He was taking a couple of shots down there on those particular plays. It really looked like it was one of those, hey, if they pick it off, so be it. It's kind of like a punt,
maybe they get a PI.
Or maybe you get a PI. There are a lot more positive things or neutral things that can happen from the offensive standpoint when – you take that shot down the field, and it paid off both of those times beautifully for Houston.
904-355-6351, the number, 904-355-6351. And Bucky Brooks is joining us from Los Angeles, California now. Bucky, good evening, good afternoon to you in Los Angeles. This was a tough one today. This didn't look great early in the game. It slipped away from them there in the second quarter, and they just couldn't climb out of the hole today.
No, I couldn't climb out the hole. And, JP, it's always going to be tough like that when you have a rookie debut. You just never know how rookies are going to respond. And so many young players and a young starting quarterback in Trevor Lawrence, you would like to be able to get him comfortable before you really had to put all of it on him. Unfortunately for the Jaguars, they never got enough control of the game to ease Trevor into the game plan. And so what you saw was a young quarterback playing against a defense that – it's kind of like a python when you think about the scheme and what Lovie Smith and those guys do. Tampa 2 defense is about getting eyes on the quarterback, reacting to the quarterback, being able to anticipate where he's throwing, and forcing the quarterback to play with patience and discipline. Trevor Lawrence talked about it early in the week, how they play with zone eyes and how they make it really tough on you because it's a simplistic defense. And Lovie Smith was able to really do what he wanted to do to Trevor Lawrence. Got a couple of interceptions, 3 interceptions. We're able to force the turnovers that they want. And what happens is it then looks like there are 13 defenders on the field, and you become hesitant.
And then Bucky on the other side, obviously, very disappointing with the defensive showing today, as Tyrod Taylor really didn't have to do anything in the second half other than don't hand the ball to the Jaguars, which he protected it. But he was on pace for over 450 yards passing at halftime. He hit the 2 big plays, but consistently hurt this team escaping pressure and getting outside the tackle box.
Here's the thing about Tyrod Taylor, one of the more underrated quarterbacks in the league, because the last 3 years, circumstances have forced him to go to the sideline for a young quarterback, Baker Mayfield, then Justin Herbert. It just makes it challenging to kind of figure out where he falls in the quarterback thing. But this is a guy who's won a ton of games when he's been a starter. He has led a team on a playoff run. And what I think we on the outside didn't know about the Houston Texans, they have a bunch of professionals, a bunch of veterans who understand how to go about it, and they played really well as a team. And with Tyrod Taylor not giving the Jaguars any opportunities, look, they did a good job of not losing the game, and the Jaguars couldn't do anything to win the game. And so that's how it broke down. It's a disappointing effort, but you have to know in year one you're going to have some of these growing pains, and we just saw it in full display week one.
Phone lines are open, 904-355-6351. We will take your calls until 6:30 this evening after a Jaguars loss in week number 1. Texans 37, Jaguars 21, a final score. Back with more in a moment. It's the Scoreboard Show on Jaguars Radio.
Why live with foot or ankle pain? If you have persistent pain, numbness, tingling, burning pain on the bottom of your foot, or swelling that doesn't improve with home treatment, it may be time to see Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. Our foot and ankle specialists have innovative new options to help you get back in the swing of things without persistent pain that slows you down. Call JOI 2000 or go to joionline.net for an appointment.
Any repeated physical activity puts stress on the body. Checking your phone, getting in the car, sitting at your desk, checking the phone, getting in your car, sitting at your desk, checking your phone for the 50th time today. If you do anything with regularity, you should get massaged with regularity. Massage Envy. Keep your body working.
Regular body work makes the body work with massage, skincare, and stretch. Come in today for more information or visit massageenvy.com for more details.
This is Ice-T, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and
Matty Ice.
This is a cold call. I convinced NFL teams to turn to cold water washing with Tide.
The NFL, your uniforms get dirty.
Tide can handle it, even in cold. Plus, if fans join in, they can save up to $150 on their energy bill.
Looks like you just made the team, rookie.
Turn to cold with Tide.
And that's the bottom line.
It's got to be Tide. Energy savings based on average when switching from hot to cold and non-HE machines.
At most sandwich places, asking for more of something is just part of the drill. But what if you never had to ask for more? What if more was just a given? At Daly's, more is what our sandwiches are built on. More meat, more cheese, more veggies, more quality, more taste. All for a price that's anything but more. Sandwiches from Dash, made fresh. Daly's.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa Debit Card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
It's a force that can't be contained. Propelled by purpose, pride, and the power to protect. When winning isn't just the mission, it's your passion. You pursue it. You make power plays. You pick your team. At Farrah and Farrah, we deliver game day energy 24/7. Jacksonville.
The Jaguars Scoreboard Show continues right now.
Welcome back. The Scoreboard Show continues after a Texans win over the Jaguars 37-21 in Week 1. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, Bucky Brooks joining us from Los Angeles. The Jaguars game lasted 3 hours, 24 minutes today. The Saints-Packers game has just started the second half, just behind us, Bucky, about 75 feet behind us at TIAA Bank Field. It's 17-3 Saints as they start the second half here. We can hear the music from the Packers locker room through the wall behind us, Bucky. So every time they come out of the locker room, there's some really loud music they come out to the field for, apparently.
Yeah, go Pack go. I think that's what they typically do. They have all that other stuff playing. It's weird, I know, for you guys to be right in the stadium when we're talking about the Jaguars, but there's a game going on. and it's not the Jaguars. That has to be a very surreal.
I mean,
feeling.
It's like 50 yards straight
it's behind us. But
yeah.
if you didn't know, you wouldn't really know, except for the music through the wall, because not really extra people walking through the hallway today.
No.
You can't really see the field. I haven't walked outside to see the crowd. Like, you can't hear the crowd. Like, it's just kind of
the Packer fans are quiet. I mean,
yeah,
they have had a horrible first half
Right.
offensively here. So
let's get to some calls, shall we?
Let's, and I think it's only appropriate. He typically leads off with us in every post game. At 355 NFL 1, the number. Phone lines are loaded, but Sakib got in first today on the south side of Jacksonville. Sakib, you're on the post game show. Go ahead, man.
What's up, guys?
What's up?
Hey, man.
You know, my Florida State lost, obviously, last night, which I want to cry. And then my Jaguars do what they do today. You know, so I haven't had a good 2 days. You know, I've been disappointed the last 2 days. But I think that can you explain to me all these penalties? Why do the Jaguars get more penalties than any other team in NFL? I look at the Patriots. I never see the Patriots get dumb penalties like we do. Can somebody just explain to me why do we get into fights and just these procedure penalties? I'm so curious if you guys can explain to me why. Why does this keep happening to the Jaguars every time? Like every year, this keeps happening to us.
Bucky?
Well, I think some of the penalties and self-inflicted things will happen when you have a really young team. Adjusting to the rules, understanding where you can get your hands in, hands out, what can grab, what constitutes a penalty versus what it was in college. Some of those things happen. And, it's one of those things, either you're coaching it or allowing it to happen. And so the Jaguars have to tighten up. And in these games, especially the opener, you have to remember, some guys have played extensively in the preseason. Some guys haven't played. And so this is an extension of the preseason. And so normally what happens is as we get into week 2 and week 3, you can clean some of those things up because now they understand the difference in preseason speed, regular season speed, and how tight the officials will call the game at certain points.
How about all the extracurricular stuff towards the end? I mean, I get, that happens from time to time. They're football players. They're, big alpha male types. But that seems to have been a prevailing thing around here over the last couple of years, Bucky.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, when you get whooped a few times and you've been getting whooped for years and years on end, there's a level of frustration that sinks in. And because of the way this game was probably viewed going into it, I think most people, me included, thought that the Jaguars would have an opportunity to win this game because we couldn't fathom the fact that the Houston Texans would be able to cobble together an effort that would lead to a winning result. And so when you have that and maybe you have a little bit of the team overlooking the other team, it's going to be chippy because I'm sure when the Texans were jumping on them, I'm sure there was a lot of woofing and barking going on at the same time.
I'm sure there was. And But, just for the record, I mean, hopefully the Jags can clean up these penalties, but Houston only had 5 today, and, they're coming out of preseason as well. So, yep. I mean, the Jags really hurt themselves with a lot of those, and a couple of them declined, so it could have been worse. But we move on. Sakib, thank you for the call. Let's go to Chris, also on the south side here, next up on the Scoreboard Show. Hi, Chris.
Hey, Mike, JP, Bucky, thank you guys for taking our calls
yes,
and letting us get it off our chest today. I came into the season with high expectations, but not for this year, for the future. I understand we have a rookie quarterback, a rookie head coach, a new GM, and we got to give those guys time to work. So I think, preseason should have been a signal to a lot of us when our ones went up against the Saints ones and it wasn't really close, that a day like today could happen. I think that for me, and I think as a fan base, we now have sort of a baseline for what the team is, because we know we were 1-15 last year. So now we see what we are this year. And what I'd like to see is for everybody to get consistently better so we have that hope for the future, because I still think the future's bright, but we have a lot of growing up to do. We still have a lot of young guys. By the end of the year, you'd like to see Trevor Lawrence not making the same mistakes and have those connections with DJ Chark and Laviska Shenault and some of those other young guys. So I don't think it's a loss. It's a rough day, and we have a long way to go.
What do you think, Bucky?
I mean, I like the caller's perspective because that is a very realistic take on where the Jaguars are. We talked about it. I think we talked about it on Wednesday, how this is a situation where the first half of the season is really kind of a filling out part of the season. Coach Meyer's trying to figure out the pro game. The players are trying to figure out one another. You're trying to figure out what you really have as a talent perspective compared to other teams. And then the last half of the year is about putting it together and trying to show improvement going into next season. Ideally, you don't want to see Trevor Lawrence in his first game have to have 50-plus passes. Some of that obviously is the nature of the score. But ideally, the way that you break in a rookie is you have the supporting cast carry a little more of the weight while he is acclimating to the pro game. And because the Jaguars have not been able to run the ball consistently, more is on number 16 than it needs to be. And so at some point, Coach Meyer and the offensive coaching staff, they're going to have to challenge the offensive line, the running backs, and everybody. They have to be able to run the football when everyone in the stadium knows that they're going to run it, because it gives them an opportunity to control the game and set the table up for easy completions for Trevor Lawrence. If they're unable to run the football, which they weren't able to run it in the preseason, they haven't been able to run it in the opener, it's going to be a problem, because you're going to see more turnovers from the rookie quarterback than you want, because he doesn't have a chance, because it's not a balanced offensive approach.
Yeah, I don't know if they weren't able to run it, Buck, or if they just didn't stick with it, right? I mean, they had a couple of good runs called back early, and when you look at the yards per carry average for both Hyde and Robinson, it was there. But obviously when you fall behind big, it's kind of too late at that point in time. So we'll see if they're able to stick with it earlier in games moving forward, JP.
All right, guys, let's take a timeout. We'll come back. More of your calls, 904-355-NFL1. 904-355-6351. This is the Scoreboard Show after a Jaguars loss 37-21 to the Texans on Jaguars Radio.
At most sandwich places, asking for more of something is just part of the drill. But what if you never had to ask for more? What if more was just a given? At Daly's, more is what our sandwiches are built on. More meat, more cheese, more veggies, more quality, more taste. All for a price that's anything but more. Sandwiches from Dash, made fresh. Daly's.
You're working from home. So how do you connect with coworkers and clients? With RingCentral, the #1 global communication solution for business. RingCentral makes talking, texting, collaborating, and video calls easy. And it's all on one platform. And when we say everyone should be connected, we mean it. It's why we're giving RingCentral free to educators, health providers, and nonprofits. Learn more at ringcentral.com. Welcome to the new RingCentral.
It's not kickoff without the small places that make Jaguars game day big. That's why Crown Royal is turning game day into giving day by supporting communities that serve us off the field. Nominate a local community hero to win the ultimate Jaguars game day experience at jaguars.com/Crown Royal promotion. Because Crown Royal believes if you live generously, life will treat you royally. Visit crownroyal.com. Please drink responsibly.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa Debit Card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we built the trucks of the future for everyone. Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 44 years straight. Built for performance and capability on and off-road. Because the trucks of the future aren't built for a few. They're built for America. Ford F-Series. Drive one today. Based on 1977 to 2020 calendar year total sales.
Your family isn't like anyone else's. Your home shouldn't be either. At Dreamfinders Homes, you can build the home of your dreams in one of their 30-plus communities in Northeast Florida. Choose from luxury single-family homes or maintenance-free townhomes from the 200s. Dreamfinders specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. To find out more, call 904-738-0165 or visit dreamfindershomes.com.
The Jaguars Scoreboard Show. Scoreboard Show continues right now.
Welcome back. Scoreboard Show, 37-21 the final. Texans over the Jaguars in Week 1. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, and Bucky Brooks. Glad you're along with us. 355-NFL-1, 355-6351, Mike.
Yes, sir. We've got them stacked up on the lines. They want to talk to Bucky Brooks and talk about this game. So, hey, they do, Buck.
Yeah, no doubt.
No question about it. 355-6351. Tyree is in Norfolk, Virginia, and he's checking in next here on the Scoreboard Show. Hi, Tyree.
Hey, how you guys doing today?
Okay.
Great.
Good. It's just really frustrating when I'm sitting in my house, right, and I'm looking at all the other NFL games that's going on. And I just see crisp, even if they're making mistakes, I just see crisp, clean play. It just look like professionals are playing. And then when we start the game, we can't even get the offense on the field without penalties already happening. And I'm just tired of the same thing. It's just different faces with the same results every single time. It just feels like we can never get it right. And my question is for you guys, what do you think? Because it's hard for me to pinpoint anything that we can improve on, but what do you think we can do going into next week's game?
Buck, what do you say?
I think it's about the details. So, look, there's an old saying, how you do anything is how you do everything. And so it starts with the way that the guys are around the building, the way they are at practice. Are they on the details when it comes to the little things that's being asked of them? Because typically, if you're a very detailed person away from the field, you're going to be very detailed on the field. But now that it's become an issue and you can see it on film, it's on Coach Meyer and the coaches to make sure they harp on that. Yes, we've seen officials at practice and those things, but they have to really get on the guys and they have to understand how important it is to really reduce some of those self-inflicted things. Football really comes down to, one, can you do the things, we call them the DBOs, don't beat ourselves. So the DBOs are turnovers, pre-snap penalties, blown assignments that lead to big plays. Those are the things that you can control, knowing exactly what to do when doing those things. And so I think it has to be a point of emphasis this week to make sure that they take care of the DBOs.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with both of you guys, Tyree and Bucky there, as, early on. Look, it's one thing, you don't want the holding penalties, but you understand in the heat of the moment, but illegal formations and running the clock down to a half second, having to call a timeout on your opening drive on like the second play, just really, for a guy, Urban Meyer is an attention to detail coach. That's his reputation. So that, I agree with Tyree, was very disappointing coming out, but definitely room for improvement going forward. Tyree, thank you for the call. Let's keep it closer to home here. John is in Callahan, checking in next on the Scoreboard Show. Hi, John.
Hey, Mike. Hey, JP, Bucky. I hope this day finds you well.
Thank you.
One thing I noticed in the first half that I did not see in the second half is all the substitutions. I think Urban Meyer looked more like a college coach then than he did any other time. And the 55-yard field goal, why couldn't we have pinned them back on their 5 or 10-yard line? Bucky, I'm glad you didn't go out there with MJD, the Hollywood, and go all Hollywood on us, because you look really good on the on the preseason there. I got to say that. Have the one for you.
Thank you, John. What do you think there, Hollywood?
Yeah, Hollywood Bucky.
No, I appreciate the sentiments. Look, when you have all of the things, as we said, this will be an adjustment period for Coach Meyer and the players as he gets used to the different nature of the game. Some of the things that maybe he liked to do in college, he'll eliminate it, or he'll do it in a different way. It's always been a substitution game, a matchup league in the National Football League, but it's understanding the personnel, having them ready. And when you have a young team, they have to pay attention. So when you switch out the packages, they have to know, hey, we're in. We have this package. Tiger's in. Ace is in. We're going to our sub package. Everyone has to have their antennas up. And so it's one of those things where we thought they covered it in the preseason, even at the scrimmage that we attended. They were going through those simulations. But we have a young team. You can never assume that they know. So you just have to continue to harp on them about the communication and being ready and listening for what group is supposed to be on the field and in the game.
All right, the phone line's open, 355-NFL-1, 355-6351. We will be here until 6:30. So about 25 minutes to go after a Jaguars loss in Week 1, 37-21, the final. Texans a winner over the Jags. This is the Scoreboard Show on Jaguars Radio.
The Land Rover Defender story began with the simple thought of creating an exceptionally capable off-road vehicle, becoming the go-anywhere, do-anything all-terrain machine. Today, there's a new Land Rover Defender, the toughest and most advanced Land Rover vehicle ever. From the beginning, Land Rover knew the new Defender was capable of great things. Motor Trend's 2021 SUV of the Year is just the latest example. Test drive the new Land Rover Defender today at Land Rover Jacksonville on Atlantic Boulevard, or go to LandRoverJacksonville.com. Land Rover, above and beyond.
At ViStar, we believe in better, especially in helping build a better financial future for our members. So we've reviewed our offerings from the ground up. We've lowered or eliminated over half our fees and enhanced our already competitive rates, saving members more than $1 million this year, in addition to the millions we save them every year. If you believe that saving money is better, join ViStar. Visit ViStarCU.org. All loans subject to approval, insured by NCUA.
This is Ice-T,
Stone Cold Steve Austin, and
Matty Ice.
This is a cold call.
I convinced NFL teams to turn to cold water washing with Tide.
The NFL, your uniforms get dirty.
Tide can handle it, even in cold. Plus, if fans join in, they can save up to $150 on their energy bill.
looks like you just made the team, rookie.
Turn to cold with Tide.
And that's the bottom line.
It's got to be Tide. Energy savings based on average when switching from hot to cold and non-HE machines.
Brooks Rehabilitation is looking for exceptional nurses who want to work where miracles happen. They're hiring for RN, LPN, HHA, and CNA positions across their inpatient, skilled nursing, and home healthcare settings. Brooks nurses serve as leaders, advocates, change agents, and care coordinators for their patients. They offer flexible schedules, career advancements, and continuing education, competitive pay, plus bonuses, shift premiums, and sign-on bonuses. Apply now at brooksrehab.org/nursecareers.
Are you tired of not seeing clearly? As the official eye care provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Florida Eye Specialists offers the safest, most effective technology to regain control of your sight. With 9 locations across Northeast Florida, our dedicated doctors have provided premier eye care to the community for more than 20 years. Call 904-564-2020 or visit FloridaEyeSpecialists.com to book an appointment with Jacksonville's most trusted eye care providers today.
You're beyond busy. Between work and the kids, the dogs and the cat, let us help. With Publix Delivery powered by Instacart, you'll get the items you need from the store you know. Just shop online, select the time you'd like your order delivered, and grocery shopping is done, giving you more time to take care of everything else. Publix Delivery, powered by Instacart. Visit Publix.com/delivery to shop now. That's Publix.com/delivery. Item prices vary from in-store prices. Service fees may apply. Available in select zip codes. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
The Jaguars Scoreboard Show continues right now.
We're back. Scoreboard Show 37-21. Texans over the Jaguars. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey in Jacksonville. NFL Network analyst Bucky Brooks in Los Angeles, California. We're taking your phone calls at 355-NFL1, 355-6351.
We certainly are. And the next up on the hit list is Parker checking in from Mandarin here on the Scoreboard Show. Hi, Parker.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good, man. What's up?
So one thing I noticed, I want to get kind of you guys' opinion, just from what I saw from the game, is it seems like with all these boneheaded penalties that we had early on, continuously having to play from behind, long distance downs, we had to, start relying on Trevor's arm early on instead of the run game. So we never had a chance to really establish ourselves in the run game, and we're always trying to play catch up. Obviously, you don't want to do that with your rookie quarterback, but why do you think, Trevor has, I think it was 50 or 51 passing attempts. Why do you think that we just got away from the run game? Because like y'all said earlier, the average runs were not bad. The run game was there when we used it, but it just seemed like we gave up on it pretty early on. And obviously our defense is just, given every play up. Tyrod Taylor ended up looking like Deshaun Watson with how he was playing today. Where do you think the biggest issue was from today, and what do you think that we can improve on going forward?
Yeah, Bucky. I will even say, Bucky, in the first half that the Jaguars had 9 total rushes. One of those was Lawrence. One of those was Chenault. So 7 carries for backs in the first half compared to 21 passing attempts for Lawrence at halftime.
You know, it's a delicate balance when you're a play caller trying to figure out how to mix in your story, which is Trevor Lawrence, because every day in practice you see all the wonderful things that he can do, and you can't wait to expand upon his game and do all these things, versus how can we slowly protect him by running the football. And as a play caller, that can be hard because it gets away from you. And typically, most play callers operate under the premise of players, not plays. Let me get the ball in the hands of my best player rather than calling these plays. The trick is, though, when you have a young quarterback who might already be your best offensive player, how can I protect them by finding other guys who are capable of kind of sharing some of the load? And so it's one of those things that Darrell Bevell and Brian Schottenheimer and the offensive staff, they have to continue to work through. Let's slowly put it on Trevor Lawrence, but let's not put it on him too much too soon, because he'll have the performance that he had today, which was a mix of good and bad, but you just don't want him to throw it 50-plus times.
JP, what was it was it 2 carries in the first quarter? At the end of the first quarter, I think you said like 7 for the running backs in the first half. I think it was 2 in the first quarter. And granted, they were down 14-0, but there's a lot of time left in the football game at that
Remember,
point.
they had that 3-and-out to start, and they didn't run it. The
Correct.
First possession of the game, and then
they had the good pickup by Robinson, but it got called back on a hold.
Then they had the 4-play drive on the missed field goal, but on the other side, remember, they had the 3-and-out for Houston and a 14-play drive to kill a bunch of clock, 7 minutes. So they just didn't have the ball a lot.
Parker, thank you for the call. We'll see if it can get better in that department next week. Let's go to Cheyenne, checking in all the way from South Dakota next up. Hi, Cheyenne.
Hey, guys, what's up? So, yeah, just kind of going off what you guys were saying, you know, I can't help but think about that advice that Urban Meyer got from Joe Burrow, where it's like, give the quarterback the run if you want to help him, and it didn't seem like they did that.
Yeah, no doubt. We were just talking a little bit about that, and, you know, trying to balance it out a little bit more. It felt like they maybe didn't get enough opportunities to do that early, and then all of a sudden, boom, they're scoring points right before half, and you got to come out in the second half and try to play catch-up a little bit. So, you know, it felt like they just kind of got away from it a little bit today, and you know, and I think what they said, Bucky, all offseason is that they still want to be a balanced offense. They're not just going to throw it around 50 times a game. That's not going to be in the plans. At least that's the feeling I get after today's game, too.
You know, I still believe the plan is going to be to run the football and try and find a way to have a balanced approach. In the National Football League, balance would be a 45-55 run-pass ratio. That would be a very balanced team by today's standards. The thing will be, can they do it by throwing on first down on occasion, some bootlegs, some play action, some simple things, so now they get second and medium as opposed to, hey, let's run it, then throw it on third down, where it's very obvious how they want to approach it. It's a work in progress, and it's one of those things that we have to continue to be mindful of. This is a rebuild, and it's going to take some time. As much as we want Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars to go from being abysmal to being respectable right away, it typically doesn't happen like that. They just have to continue to put building blocks in place and see if they can find a way to have some success over the next 2 or 3 weeks, so they can jumpstart the team and have some confidence and kind of have that good feeling going when they get into the tougher part of the schedule.
All right, one more segment to go. We'll be here until 6:30, and we'll take your calls. If you're on the line now, hang on tight. We'll get to you after this Jaguars loss in Week 1. Final score, Texans 37, Jaguars 21, and this is the Scoreboard Show on Jaguars Radio.
At ViStar, we believe in better. And what's better than saving up to $5,000 in closing costs when you buy or refinance a home? With a ViStar no closing costs mortgage, you'll get a great rate, no hidden fees, and like the name says, no closing costs up to $5,000. If you believe saving money is better, join ViStar. Equal housing opportunity, insured by NCUA. All loans subject to credit approval. Offer not available on VA and FHA mortgages. For more information, visit ViStarCU.org.
If something's been hurting, aching, or bothering you, don't ignore it any longer. It's time to take care of your health again. It's time to make an appointment with a Baptist Health primary care doctor or specialist. Call 904-202-4U to schedule a virtual visit or see a doctor in person at a Baptist Health location. The time for better health is here. Call 904-202-4YOU or visit getbetterjacks.com.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're feeling good now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now, bucket dunking now, namasteing now, popping a wheelie now, living lighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. And on Mondays, try our Jaguars Duval Delight Smoothies for $2.99. And you're roaring louder now, end zone dancing now, sipping spirit now. You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Your family isn't like anyone else's. Your home shouldn't be either. At Dreamfinders Homes, you can build the home of your dreams in one of their 30-plus communities in Northeast Florida. Choose from luxury single-family homes or maintenance-free townhomes from the 200s. Dreamfinders specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. To find out more, call 904-738-0165 or visit dreamfindershomes.com. Crown Royal's That Deserves a Crown program recognizes local heroes for making a positive impact in the community. The Jaguars and Crown Royal are giving back to those who served this season, celebrating these individuals with the ultimate VIP Jaguars home game experience. Nominate someone who deserves a crown today at jaguars.com/Crown Royal promotion. Please drink responsibly.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we built the trucks of the future for everyone. Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 44 years straight. Built for performance and capability on and off-road. Because the trucks of the future aren't built for a few. They're built for America. Ford F-Series. Drive one today. Based on 1977 to 2020 calendar year total sales.
The Jaguars Scoreboard Show continues right now.
Welcome back to the Scoreboard Show. JP Shadrick with Mike Dempsey and Bucky Brooks. Final score 37-21. Texans over the Jaguars. Meanwhile, in TIAA Bank Field, Aaron Rodgers just threw his second consecutive interception. How rare is that? And now the Saints are in the red zone with a 2nd down and 8 and a 17-3 lead, trying to add on to it in the late moments of the third quarter. Inside 4 minutes to play in the third. 17-3 Saints over the Packers. And let's get to some final calls today, Mike.
Yeah, we got a bunch of them. We'll see if we can run through these final four here today with Bucky Brooks on the Scoreboard Show. Robert in Mandarin, you are next up here. What's going on, Robert? Hello, Robert.
Robert.
All right. Let's. How about Jason on the south side? Jason, you're on the Scoreboard Show. Go ahead, please.
Jason?
Yes.
You're on the air. How are you? You're on the air. What's up?
What's up? What's up, JP, Mike, Buck? How y'all
What's
doing?
up, man? We're good.
All good.
All right. I'm seeing a couple things on social media that are just driving me crazy, and I have to address them. I've seen somebody say, we can't trade that weird, nasty thing, Lawrence, because we got rid of Minshew for a 6th-round pick. I mean, I think a lot of our fans are out of touch with reality because, I mean, the man is young. He's his first year. Lovie Smith, Romeo Crennel, they're known for putting pressure on quarterbacks, especially young quarterbacks, mixing things up, disguising things. And then I'm seeing things like, we still don't have an offensive line. Trevor threw it 50, 51 times and was sacked once. I mean, for the most part, he was in the pocket, didn't have to scramble too much, maybe a handful of times. His decision-making, for the most part, I'd say about 80% of all the throws were the right throws. He just didn't get them where they needed to be all the time. And I think you could attribute that to playing behind him being a rookie, being a little slow, not seeing things as quickly as he could. But, and then one question for you guys. Dewey Wingard. I don't understand why he was starting over Cisco. Maybe you guys have some answers. I don't think his nickname should be Dewey. It should be Chicken Wing because he gets smoked, grilled, barbecued every time he's on the field.
Wow.
So I just want to hear what you guys have to say about that. And I'll take my comments off you.
Thanks for the call. I'll say this. You left out the drops portion of the day. There were about 5 drops by Jaguars receivers
4
in this
in the
game
first
also.
half. Yep.
It's a lot. What do you think, Buck?
I mean, so there's a lot. One, anyone who actually watched Trevor Lawrence and Gardner Minshew, I don't know why anyone would shed a tear about Gardner Minshew being out of the building.
No.
Like, he's just an okay player, if that. And so you can't worry about Trevor Lawrence's debut being rocky and saying, oh, we need to bring 15 back. We had more than enough time to see Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew had the starting role last year and didn't do much with it. So we need to kind of turn the page on that part, despite him being a fan favorite due to his social media antics. I would say with Wingard, sometimes coaches have a tendency to like veterans over rookies, particularly when it's the early part of the season. There's a comfort level, maybe because the veteran can spit out all the answers really quickly. Maybe you trust that they're going to get it right and not have major mistakes. But at some point, we'll see Cisco get on the field. He's too good of a player. He is too natural of a playmaker to not make his way into the starting lineup pretty early in his career. So that'll happen. And then the final part, I just think everyone just needs to take a deep breath. It's only the season opener. Just like colleges and stuff like that, most teams improve from the first week to the second week. And so it's still a work in progress. They will play much better the next 2 or 3 times out. And so we just kind of have to, take these as lessons, not necessarily losses, and just see how the team improves as we get to the midway point of the season.
But, Bucky, you know this. This is a social media world. That was a social media question. We want answers now. We want them now. We don't want to wait anymore. We're tired of this. We want now. We want results and wins now.
Yeah. Well done. Look, and I know Coach Meyer wants now. He doesn't believe in a 4-year rebuild. He believes in year 1, but he is also learning that the NFL is different. The parity is real. And for a team, as we remember, a team that was 1-15 a season ago that has now lost 16 straight games, it is the process of teaching the team how to win. And so not only does he have to learn how to win in the pros, he has to learn how to win in the pros while also standing in front of the team saying that I'm going to teach you guys how to win. And so there's a lot going on. And as he gets more comfortable in the National Football League, he will be able to definitively put together plans and processes that would allow the team to win and win consistently.
I stay off social media during games. I do. I don't want to hear it one way or the other. Generally, anybody who is like, come on.
I
people.
tweet and run. I hit and run is what I do.
We're punting on number 16 now? Come on.
Let's
just ignore that
I'm
stuff.
I'm a hit and run guy during games. I'll tweet something and I'll put it away. And
I only do it when the Jags are definitely coasting to victory, and then I get full of myself on Twitter. So, all right, let's go to James and Nocatee next up here on the Scoreboard Show. Hi, James. How are you?
Well, Mike, thanks so much for taking my call.
Sure.
So I don't have a problem with losing at all. I'm used to it as a Jags fan, as you well know. What I have a problem with is James Robinson, the bell cow, the only thing that worked for us last year, getting minimal touches in the entire game. Yes, he stopped some passes, sure. But how did Urban Meyer's game plan revolve around letting a rookie quarterback throw the ball over, 40 times? How did that happen? And why, in God's name, did he let that happen? As a rookie coach with a rookie quarterback, you need to play to your strengths. You need to make sure the offensive line is doing their job, at which they were, because he had over 5 yards of touch. How did that happen? Please tell me how that happened.
Bucky, tell him.
Okay, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news for some people, but I would say that James Robinson might not necessarily be perceived out in the world like Jags fans may perceive him. He had a very successful year on a team that was very poor. And so he's a good player, but I don't know if many view him as a great player. And so when you're Urban Meyer and you come in and you're trying to figure out who's who and what's what, you may not have the same view of James Robinson like Duval has of him. And so it's one of those things where when James Robinson gets opportunities, he's going to have to cash them in and do big things. Yes, he averaged 5 yards a carry, but his longest run that officially counted was 7 yards. And so for a coach who might be a little impatient, he's going to want to see some splash plays. That is why the team went and got Travis Etienne, because in Urban Meyer's mind, it's too hard to nickel and dime the ball down the field. You got to have some pop and some wow. And he may not view James Robinson as a guy who has that wow factor.
Well, I'm with James and Nakati on this one. Like, a guy had 1,400 yards last year. I know he's not necessarily Alvin Kamara, but I think you got to give him more looks than he had today. But I'm sure they will try to rectify that going forward to some degree. We'll get one more in here with Bucky Brooks at 355 NFL 1, and that is Mark on the west side getting the final word today. Hello, Mark.
Hello, how are you guys doing this evening?
Okay, what's up?
Good. Now, in sports, most teams use copycat to, success for whatever successful teams will tend to copy that. So why we don't do that as Jaguars coaching staff? If you look at a coach like a Belichick, or I even go back to years like the old 49er coaches and stuff like that who were very successful, why we don't copy that? That's the first one. And number two, do they evaluate our offensive linemen? Do they look at stats or keep stats on where the protections break down when they're trying to run and they're trying to pass, so they'll know which guys are being effective and which guys aren't?
Bucky?
Yeah, like one of the things that you should do if you're a good coaching staff is you should always self-scout. You should always go back, reevaluate how the game was called, why the game was called a certain way, who are the players that are thriving, who are the players that are struggling, are there things that we can do to help those players out, or is it time to make a change based on having better personnel potentially sitting on the bench? You want to self-scout after every game, but also quarterly you make sure you do a reevaluation of everything that you're doing within the building. Are we giving our players the best chance to succeed and all of that? So I'm sure when they look back at the film and they have the staff meetings tonight when they begin the conversation, tomorrow and Tuesday when they start the game planning part of it, they will have those conversations. And I'm sure Coach Meyer will ask, what are the things that we can do to give ourselves the best chance to win in week 2? Do we need to make personnel changes? Are there different things that we can do to help our best players get the ball more and make more plays? And then hopefully they will make those changes in accordance with what the conversation was in the building.
All right, that'll do it. Our appreciation for all the phone calls tonight on the Scoreboard Show. The final score here, 37-21. Next week, the Denver Broncos coming to TIAA Bank Field, and the Jaguars are in need of a W. By the way, the Saints just added a touchdown. Winston to Hogan, a 10-yarder, 24-3, and then the Saints defense got a turnover on downs. So it's 24-3 Saints over the Packers, 1:35 to play in the third quarter. And, boy, it's been a – you don't come into TIAA Bank Field and knock off the homestanding Saints, okay? You just don't do that.
I hope that's the case that holds up all season long. For the homestanding, fill in the blank, Jaguars.
I mean, that would be nice for it to do that, but maybe it's just the football gods kind of playing a little corner on maybe number 12 for the Packers.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's on track for his lowest passer rating of his career today. It's in the 30s at the moment for the Packers. Hey, and Bucky, we will talk to you as the week goes along. We'll look forward to Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks on Wednesday afternoon.
Let's do it. I'm looking to have fun recapping everything that took place and turning the page going to week 2 on to Denver.
We're on to Denver. We're on to the Broncos, Bucky. How about that? Bucky Brooks out of here. We'll talk to you, man.
See you, Buck.
Bucky Brooks, NFL Network analyst, joining us on the Scoreboard Show. And, let's move on. We're turning the page.
Can't turn it quick enough. That's right. But I got 5 shows to do this week that we're not going to be turning the page quite that quickly, unfortunately.
We're going to turn the page on this show now. Coming up next, the fifth quarter, Hacker and Leon Searcy will take more of your calls. Final score, again, Houston 37, Jacksonville 21 in week 1. Our thanks to Tony Smith, Linda Fortunato, Brent Reber, our entire Jaguars crew, the entire crew back in Houston helping us get it done tonight. For Mike Dempsey and Bucky Brooks, I'm JP Shadrick. We'll catch you next time.